for 2026 is to read 4 books a month. This month, I read 7. Here's the 5 I would recommend to you. Number 4. Oh my gosh. Number 4, Hellbent. How the Fear of Hell Holds Christians Back from a Spirituality of Love by Brian Recker. It's the first month of me reading books every month, and I would not be surprised if at the end of the year, this is in the top 3 of the best books I read all year. And like, I know that feels premature, but oh my gosh, I wish I would have been able to read this book when I was 15, because it would have spared me from a decade of fear and self-loathing. Like, this book really like pulls you away from the mindset that the evangelical stereotypical picture of like eternal torment, hell, is something that Christians must hold to be absolutely true in order to believe in the Christian God or the Christian Bible or anything like that. It is full of extremely challenging ideas that are framed and presented in a non-challenging way, in addition to really, really strong like spiritual, biblical, theological doctrines and arguments. This book is also really full of like heart and passion and experience and empathy. Like, it is quite literally a life-changing read. It is a worldview-changing read. Here's what I liked about the book. It is very, very thorough. Just about every angle is covered. It didn't leave me with like any loose ends or any like unanswered questions. That's really hard to accomplish in any sort of like book or lecture or blog post pertaining to the Bible. Like, it's really hard to wrap up all of your little loose ends and typos, but this one was super, super thorough. There's a heavy emphasis throughout this entire book on love and patience and empathy and compassion and kindness to yourself and to others. You know, all the things that Jesus did all the time and told us that we need to do all the time. And like, what does the world need if not more of that right now? So high marks for that. I mentioned in my last book review video how when you're making a biblical argument, it's really important that you have more than just Bible verses. Like, if you want a well-rounded biblical argument, you need a biblical argument plus other things. And this book had biblical arguments, it had theological arguments, it had spiritual arguments, it had experiential-based arguments, it had cultural-based arguments, and everything was well defended, everything was well supported. It was like a holistic approach to everything that was said. It didn't feel like anything was half-assed. It didn't feel like anything was left out. It was just like thorough and solid beginning to end. Another thing that I loved is this pulled me out of an echo chamber, right? I never want to exist in an echo chamber. I think that's the least healthy place that you can be. I don't ever want to be a person who only reads the books that already say the things that I believe. I don't ever want to be the person that only listens to the voices that already agree with me. I want to be challenged. I want to be contradicted. I want to be proven wrong, and I want to engage in conversation and in like thought-provoking literature that like does those things well. I have been on a complicated journey personally with the concept of hell. I have previously been in the camp of like the Greg Boyd kind of annihilationistism. That's not the right word. This book pulled me out of my echo chamber, pulled me out of my like fear that hell had to be this thing, pulled me out of my like whatever you want to call it, and like really challenged me and like really made me change a lot of my opinions. I don't personally know if I fall entirely into the camp of universalism yet. It's something I'm still looking into. It's something I'm still reading about. But this book pushed me years into the future of healing and health and wellness from where I was in one read. It changed so much for me. Here's some quotes I like. There is a black hole at the center of Christian spirituality, the doctrine of hell. No matter how hard we try to believe in a loving God, the fear of eternal torment always lurks at the back of our minds, warping our sense of what love means. Relatable content, thank you. For many of us, spirituality has been so defined by fear that if we uproot punishment from our faith, there would be no positive spirituality left. We don't have a map for imagining spirituality outside of punishment. Another one. If I believe that you're going to burn for eternity unless you listen to me and agree with me, then you are my project, not my friend. And the queer people in the room felt that one. And the queer people in the room felt that one. Loving God is the greatest commandment because loving God helps you love everyone and everything else. In fact, if loving God does not cause you to more deeply love yourself and other people, then it's not actually God you're loving. It's probably some culturally constructed identity marker. It's an aspect of your ego. It's an idol. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. In terms of like how difficult was this book to get through and how difficult was this book to read, literally 2. It took me multiple days to read it, but not because it was hard to understand, only because I would read a chapter and then I would have to go, because it like really cost me to like think and ponder and pray. But it's really, really easy to read. The author doesn't speak like a scholar or a theologian at all, but he puts really deep scholarly and theological content into a language that's easy to understand and like pleasant to listen to and comprehend. I was reading this book and I was like, oh, that's fun. Oh, that's funny. Didn't think that reading a book about hell would ever elicit that response in me, but I was like, okay, period. I will say there were a couple of real life examples talked about in this book that hit so close to home that it was like a little bit triggering, and I was like, I don't know if I can keep reading after that. That's like putting me back into a mindset that I thought I was healed from, but maybe I'm not all the way. So please don't let that scare you off, because this book is really, really, really freaking phenomenal.